When Fred first came to CSU, I was one of the first students assigned to him as my advisor, and it changed my life. He found out I was going to be a print journalist and said, you know, you ought to take some of my TV classes, my film class, you'll really like them. And he was right. I loved them. And one thing I learned from him during those classes was something he told all of us. You need to look at the work you're doing and ask yourself, is it good enough? Is it good? Or is it excellent? And when we saw how much he appreciated excellence, how excited he got, we all wanted to do excellent work. And that's something that stuck with me throughout my professional career. Whenever there was a project, I often found myself asking the question, what would Fred think? Was it good enough? Was it good? Or is it excellent? What would Fred think?
One of the things I loved about Fred was how he would express his feelings kind of vicariously through the bears. He had 72 bears. But anyway, he would talk about how he was feeling by calculating it as to where the bear's ears were falling, if that makes any sense at all. Imagine a clock and imagine the bear's ears are standing up at 11 and 1. Well, that meant the bears were really happy and they were excited. But if they became a little bit upset or worried or frustrated, the bear's ears would kind of fall to 9 and 3. And if they were really frustrated, they would fall to 5 and 7. And boy, when those ears were at 5 and 7, we knew that the bears and Fred were pretty upset about something. It was really pretty cool.
Hi everybody. My name is Mark. I'm Fred's son, and I thought I'd share with you today one of Dad's passions from the late 70s, early 80s. He got into woodworking, among other things. He built 3 nice pieces of furniture, gave one to each of the kids. So this is the roll top desk that Dad finished in about 1980. It's a solid walnut roll top desk. He said he put about 500 hours into this, and I got to spend a few hours sanding myself out in the garage. So this particular piece of wood on top, I know he searched long and hard for. He wanted a piece big enough to put on the top without having to splice it together. And I know that was difficult in that era. There weren't large pieces of walnut left. The tooling for the roll top itself, he had to have made. Nobody was making that kind of equipment. Some of these desks were, the old-fashioned ones had canvas glued to the back. Dad used cable. He drilled each piece, lined it up, and used a piece of cable through there. There's some beautiful writing tables. All of the drawers have been dovetailed. A lot of work went into this desk. It goes up and down, smooth and beautiful. When Dad got into a project and became passionate about it, nothing would stop him. And we think he did a great job on this desk, and we've been glad to use it all these years. He always said it was like the first computer to organize your household, and I think he's right about that. Good job, Dad. Thanks for the desk.
So this is a desk that my dad made before I was born. I remember crawling under it as a kid, just like Cash is doing right now, because there's this cool eagle under there. It used to seem a lot bigger when I was a kid.
At one point in the mid-1980s, I came home for a visit, and there was a bunch of woodworking tools in the garage. Dad decided that he was going to try his hand at building some furniture. And so he proceeded to build this hutch, and he built a roll top desk, and he built a writing table. It was just one of the many things that he found interesting and decided he was going to learn how to do.
You know, he was a master teacher, a mentor, soft-spoken, gentle, nurturing, really inquisitive, and he would draw those students out every time. They would discover for themselves the great storytelling techniques that make for memorable television. But I do recall one favorite moment of mine. We were in Texas. The station had put us on the university campus. We had an auditorium where the journalism was taught in that school. Had a big crowd that day, maybe 50 folks and stuff. At the end of the day, one of the reporters came up to Fred and to me, and she was mad. She said, you know, I got my journalism degree. I spent most of my time in this classroom, and I learned more today, she said, than I did in all 4 years of journalism school. That's what Fred Shook could do, because he could teach you how to be a great reporter. That's the kind of impact Fred had on that girl and so many others, including us.
I first met Fred Shook in 1992 at the Oklahoma workshop, NPPA workshop. Fred was larger than life to me, and I never went up to him. I was probably scared. He stood out. He was smarter than anyone else, and he looked better than anyone else. He was always dressed better. And one day in that week workshop, he came up to me, and I was kind of shocked that he even knew who I was. And he commented on a couple pieces that he saw of mine, and the praise just went right to my heart. It was like, wow. I was just, Fred Shook just gave me a thumbs up.